Ryan, you run arguably one of the most impressive Remax brokerages I think I've ever seen. 1,600 transactions and 600 million in sales for 2024.
It is all about relationships, building relationships, and taking time for others. And I think, just growing up in a family that was always something that was sort of instilled in us. That it's really hard every day because you get hit with 40 different things that you need to do and complete.
Now, in my opinion, that's not even the craziest part. You have 246 reviews on Google, and not one is below 5 stars. So, I'd ask you your secret to business.
Is a way to resolve it. And so, for me, with the 1-star review, whether it's Google, whether it's Yelp, I am a huge believer in you get that review, reach out by phone, in person, even if you can. Try to listen, determine what happened. Is there a way that you can try to resolve that?
But it's pretty obvious. It's quality real estate. So instead, what do you do that's unique and allows you to instill that value in each and every one of your agents at such a large scale?
So I spend a good chunk every month on a variety of different platforms on business that will give our agent an at-bat. Some of the leads are terrible. Some of them are lukewarm. Some of them are a home run. But it gives our agent an at-bat to meet a customer, build a relationship, sell a house, and make a paycheck.
Before we begin the podcast, I have one small favor to ask. If you could hit the subscribe button so that we could reach more real estate agents every single week. Thank you. Let's begin. Ryan, you run arguably one of the most impressive Remax brokerages I think I've ever seen. 1,600 transactions and 600 million in sales for 2024. Now, in my opinion, that's not even the craziest part. You have 246 reviews on Google, and not one is below 5 stars. So, I'd ask you your secret to business, but it's pretty obvious. It's quality real estate. So, instead, what do you do that's unique and allows you to instill that value in each and every one of your agents at such a large scale?
It's a good question, a really good question. Thank you again. Thanks for having me on, Andrew. Appreciate it, and just excited, honored to be joining you on your podcast here. I think growing up in Minnesota here, the youngest of 5. My mom is almost 90 and still doing very well, very active, and has lived a wonderful life. But, I think growing up, both of our parents really instilled kind of a attitude and practice of taking time for people. I think real estate, if I've learned nothing over the last 20 plus years of doing this job as an agent, as a broker, as a team leader, is that this real estate revolves around people. It is all about relationships, building relationships, and taking time for others. And I think, just growing up in a family that was always something that was sort of instilled in us. That it's really hard every day because you get hit with 40 different things that you need to do and complete. But I think just being present where you are, what you're doing, focusing on one item at a time and kind of moving forward slowly. And again, just caring about other people. So I think from a team standpoint, it is, for me, being able to work with a lot of really good people over the years that are hardworking, hustling, doing their best, but ultimately on a human level, care about the customer, care about the client. And again, in a small market like ours in the Twin Cities, it's word travels fast. So reputation is very important. And it's something to focus on as an agent, as a broker, team leader.
Yeah, I agree. That's one of the things that I see like across brokerages that do really well is they're not selling houses focused, they're people focused. And there's a very distinct difference there. How many agents do you have?
Right now, there's a little over 200 agents on our team. So we've been about the same size the last few years, but a little over 200 right now.
how do you maintain it with that many agents? Like, because I can't fathom trying to maintain a relationship with 200 people, nonetheless, your clients, plus all of the agents that you have working with you.
Yeah, I think I think for any any agent, team leader, broker, you're thinking, okay, how can I set up my business? And as you know, with any business, you have to be thoughtful and strategic about it. And so for me, there's a lot of things that I don't do well. However, what has been helpful to me is to slow down and to say, who do I need to put in place with our team that helps me fulfill certain daily actions, daily things that I need to do, that I want to do to run a really good team and operation. And so we've got some great people that work with the Minnesota real estate team that have set jobs and tasks. And really, it's like any business or company. Really, it comes down to who's working there, and what are they like? What's their effort? How do they treat other people? And so for me, we've got three or four um, really good folks from an employee standpoint that help me with what you just described. Because again, for one person, it's too much, but it's also just trying to determine what's the highest use of your time every day. So for me, I am a doer, and there's about 800 things I could do every day, but what is the highest use and the best use of my time? Um, to honor those people that are working with me. And that's where, again, working with a good team, being part of a great brokerage that has a lot of good systems in place to help our team run efficiently. And so I think, again, as you're watching, you're thinking about this, look at your business and say, hey, is it maybe time this year for me to hire an assistant? Is it maybe time for me to get one more person to help me each day? I know it's hard to spend the money and you don't want to, we have to watch the pocketbook, but ultimately it's your life, it's your business, and it's your time. And so be thoughtful and strategic about it. And that's something that I feel like I've tried to do the last number of years.
Yeah. I think you had two really, really good points. And like one of them that I always hear is who, not how.
Yeah.
Who do you bring in, not how do you do it? Because once you get the who, the how just comes.
Yeah.
And the other one is are you familiar with the 80/20 rule?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I think those two in combination are the bread and butter of business.
Yeah.
And I mean, like you said, you got the right people in place. And so as long as they're doing the how, you're good.
Yep. Yeah. That's it. Yep. That's it. And I think, again, from the agent, broker, business person standpoint, you've got to pay people well. I'm a big believer obviously on a human level, treating people well, determining what makes them tick. I see a lot of companies, teams, industries where it can be more of a revolving door with the people. And for me, obviously sometimes people do leave and they do different things, whether it's agents, but I think you want to make it as sticky as possible. And the way you do that is, again, I'm kind of a small town guy. It's basic stuff. Are they getting paid well? Are they being treated well? Is it good for them to be part of your operation? And I think that is something that you, as the team leader, the broker, the agent, have to really look at and be able to answer that question. Because if it's not good, people are going to leave. And then you're going to have to spend more time rehiring, finding new people, getting new agents, retraining. And that is, you want to minimize that type of effort, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. I'll give you a good example of kind of like a similar thing. So I have one brokerage right now that I'm really, really struggling to kind of get in, if it makes sense. Like
Yeah.
the owner is like, let's do this, let's go ham. But then like right-hand man, and then all of the agents are kind of like, I'm not really sure.
Hmm.
And so I'm trying to give as much value as possible and not come off as like, because there's a certain point where you give so much value that you almost put yourself in a bad situation,
Sure.
but you want to give enough value that they really, really enjoy working with you.
Yeah.
And so it's finding that balance. And that's something that I think everyone struggles with,
Yeah.
but I think is a really, really good thing to dive into. So what specifically you said, hey, well, you said make sure that it's good to work for you, like good for them. What specifically in that are you doing to make it good for the agents?
Yeah, I think to that question and to your point that you just described, I think as a default, I say yes. It's easy in life to say no. And there's arguments, a lot of really good business arguments that you have to say no. And there are certain times and situations when I do say no. But I think generally speaking, erring more so on the default of saying yes for other people serves you well longer term. Again, I think in real estate, we are in the business of goodwill. I, as a real estate agent and broker, it's goodwill with the agents that work with me. It's the vendors that work with me. It's the other brokers in our market, not viewing them as competitors, but actually viewing them as colleagues. And I think, specifically to your point about, I think it's listening to the agent and employee and saying, what is most important to you? So for everybody, it's going to be different. We as a team, for example, our team, the Minnesota real estate team, we do a lot of lead generation. So I spend a good chunk every month on a variety of different platforms on business that will give our agent an at-bat. Some of the leads are terrible. Some of them are lukewarm. Some of them are a home run. But it gives our agent an at-bat to meet a customer, build a relationship, sell a house, and make a paycheck. And so I think, you think about agents that you're trying to attract. Some of the agents will come to our team because they say, look, I want leads. I want business. I need more sales. Some want training. Some want more support. Some want their broker or team leader to be able to pick up the phone and call them back in a reasonable time and answer their question on a file. So I think, you have to think about what is it you're trying to achieve with your team, with your company, with your real estate business, and then think about how am I, as you're bringing people on, what's important to them, and how am I going to implement that? And so for me, it's a lot of listening, it's a lot of asking questions, and trying to determine what's important to people. And frankly, again, the business is always changing. There's always new companies, new business models. You have to be willing to edit, to roll with the punches. And, I am not too proud to admit that, look, we're not going to be the option for everybody. And you just got to roll with it. Take the feedback, roll with it, try to learn, try to improve. And that's something that I'm trying to do every day.
Real estate agents, you're throwing qualified leads into trash, and I'm going to give you the exact solution to fix it. Your Google My Business listing is one of the best ways to get high quality inbound leads without ads, social media, or an expensive website. But most agents completely ignore it. Meanwhile, some of my clients are generating as many as 50 qualified leads a month on autopilot. Take Legendary Real Estate, for example. In just 2 months, they 4x their Google My Business listing interactions. That's calls, website clicks, and directions to their office. Yet so many agents are out here grinding on social media, wasting money on ads, and struggling with their website, all while ignoring the easiest lead source they already own. The best part, you don't need to do any of that. You just need 15 minutes a week and the right strategy. I've seen plenty of Google My Business Listing courses, but nothing that works specifically for real estate. So I built you one, a Google My Business Listing course for real estate. And before you say, oh my God, he's just another course guy, listen, it's free. I'm giving you it for free. There's no paywall, there's no upsell, there's no catch, okay? Just the real tactics I use every single day to generate my clients' leads. So if you want to get the course, just drop me a follow. It's the link in bio, all yours, again, for free. So that being said, I'll see you on the other side. Yeah, taking the feedback and improving. I think that's the other really, really interesting part as well, which I want to like circle back because you have a ton of 5-star reviews. So kind of on that, one of the things that I talk to a lot of people about is, okay, if someone leaves a bad review, reach out and ask them why.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times there's a reason and you can learn from it. And then 9 times out of 10, they go, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, I totally understand. Like, you're human, things happen. And then they also remove the review.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's a ton there. And then on top of that, if you can learn to do that in the business with the agents are going to love you even more.
I deal with, so a lot of my job now, so I actively worked as an agent from 2003 till about 2013. So I'm working with buyers, sellers, investors, and we were slowly starting to grow the Minnesota real estate team at that point. In 2013, I made the decision to not chase kind of the proverbial chase 2 different rabbits, if you will. So I stopped selling and I went all in on working with agents to help them grow their business, the agents on our team, but also dealing with problems, with whether it's transactional related problems on their files, working with the customers. And so a lot of my day is dealing with problems and dealing with issues. And those of you that are watching or listening to this, you realize if you've been selling real estate long enough, there are going to be issues. There are going to be problems. And there's going to be people that are going to want to post a 1-star review that are going to be upset. And I think a lot of it comes back to, on a human level, again, taking time for people, listening, reaching out, trying to understand their situation, trying to empathize with them, and then seeing if there is a way to resolve it. And so, for me, with the 1-star review, whether it's Google, whether it's Yelp, I am a huge believer in, you get that review, reach out by phone, in person, even if you can. Try to listen, determine what happened. Is there a way that you can try to resolve that? Because again, this business, it is all about goodwill. And it shows more about you, how you respond to that 1-star review on Yelp, on Google, whatever, versus, the 5-star review. And I think that's something just on a human level that, again, it's the same thing with a team or brokerage. When an agent leaves your company, and by the way, if you do this long enough, people will leave for a lot of good reasons. I've had a lot of good buddies who've left our team to start their own company, to start their own team, to go to a new company. For me, it's always on a positive note. I want to learn and say, hey, was there anything you didn't like with the team? What could I have done better? What do you have any feedback for me? And then I want to wish them well, because again, we've also seen a lot of people who've left the Minnesota real estate team who have actually come back to the team. And so the natural thing you want to do when you get the 1-star review, when somebody leaves, is you're upset. We're human. If you are more competitive and that kind of person, take a deep breath, go for a walk, go do whatever you need to do before you respond to that agent, because it's going to happen. It's quick example. I was driving home the other day, and one of our neighbors put the sign in the yard and listed their home with another company. I've known these people for a long time. They're friends. They're super good folks. The natural thing you want to do is you get pissed, you get upset. Why me? You feel sad for yourself. Versus going up to them and just wishing them well. Say, hey, congratulations. I'm sad you guys are leaving the neighborhood. I'm happy for you. And so for me, that's what I did. Just said, "Hey, Phil, congratulations. I'm sad you guys are leaving." And you don't know the reason they made the decision, the hiring decision. And so I know that was a kind of a long ramble about the negatives we experienced, the 1-star reviews, but it shows more about us during those times, and how we respond.
Yeah, I agree. And it's also with the agents. So the technical term for that in business, just to clarify, is churn.
Yeah,
So when someone leaves, that's called churning. And so one thing that I see a lot in brokerages is brokerages with low churn do really well
yeah,
because they compound. And so even if someone's churning, there's always going to be churn. No
yeah.
matter what you do, it's stuck there. And I actually thought this was really interesting. Do you know who Alex Hormozy is?
Very familiar name. Yeah, very familiar name.
Okay, so he's really, really big in the online business space,
Hmm.
specifically private equity. And I think, I forget if it's him or his wife that has this idea about hiring. And it's when you bring someone in, you always ask what their long term goals. And even if their long term goal isn't to stay forever, you help them with it. So
Right.
you're actually building the churn into hiring them. You
Hmm.
know they're going to leave. But because you helped them get to their end goal, they leave on that super positive note.
Yeah,
And so setting that expectation right away is just phenomenal.
yeah. I like it. I think it's really good. I think, yeah, when you're dealing with enough people, you're going to experience the gamut. You're going to experience everything from A to Z. And I think the natural thing as a sales agent, as a real estate broker, team leader, you are upset when things don't go your way. But it's just, again, it's like anything. It's any type of business, it's any type of initiative. You're going to have negatives. And the key, again, without sounding kind of trite, is continuing to move forward, learn from it, move forward, don't dwell on it, kill them with kindness, wish them well, provide value like you described, and good things happen over time. And I think that whatever kind of business you have, it's truly inevitable, in my opinion.
I agree. I agree. The I wanted to talk on that a lot, and I think we got really deep into like giving value, talking to the agents.
Yeah.
But I also wanted to talk to you about lead gen because you mentioned that you do a decent amount of lead gen.
Yep.
What do you find works really well?
Yeah, I think a few things, just some specific things to hopefully provide the most value I can here for folks. We do a lot of we work with a lot of companies. We of course we work with Zillow. Zillow's kind of the main player in the paid space. There are different ways you can opt in with Zillow. Whether you purchase zip codes, which we do a lot of, kind of all throughout the Twin Cities metro area, or whether you become a kind of on a referral base. They work with specific teams and companies around the country where it is a referral that's paid to Zillow, and then there's a little bit more of a management of those agents. It's called Zillow Flex. To become Zillow Flex is a bit of a process, but it's something that you could definitely look into, again, as a team, as a brokerage in your market. So we do a lot with Zillow. We work with a great company called Movoto, Movoto Pro Plus. Those leads are also what they call live transfer leads, very similar to the Zillow ones, where it's you're picking up the phone and saying, "Hey, I want to see 9001 James Avenue today." Agents like those leads, of course, because those are live transfers. They're ready to go. You can go meet them today. Movoto is another great source of those. We, I think, are one of two teams in the Twin Cities market that's part of that platform. We pay them a referral fee at closing, and there is a monthly fee involved with Movoto. We have a Sync platform. Sync, or formerly known as Commissions Inc., is a CRM that we do paid advertising with them, Google ads, social media. We generate a large number of leads where the customer is logging on to this unique website we have. They're searching, requesting showings, favoriting properties. Many of those leads are a longer type of nurture lead. So some agents don't like those. Some say, look, I don't want nurture leads. I don't want to have it take 6 months to have somebody buy or sell a house. Those can be very good leads though, however, because again, many agents, as I just noted, don't like those. So those can be an opportunity for you to meet people, to build a relationship, to get referrals from those leads. So we generate a good number of leads through that sync platform. We work with a company called Fellow. Fellow is a great company that is home value, all about home value leads. It's an email marketing company. What they've done a really good job is figuring out how to hit the inbox of the user, not get caught in a spam folder, and provide the home value for your client. So we use that system monthly. I think we have over, I don't know, I should know the number. I think it's over 130,000 people that are all of our leads that we've generated over time that get those monthly home value emails from our team. We pass those to our agents as well. That's a great tool. That is more of a paid system. So I pay a monthly fee. There's no referral fee on those. And then there's probably, I don't know, 15 other lead companies around the country that what I would encourage you to do if you're watching this and trying to find good lead companies, look for companies that are referral based. In other words, maybe it's a 0 monthly fee, but it is a success fee. It's a referral fee paid at closing. So I can think of, we work with a company called Fast Expert that's been wonderful to us. Fast Expert is a 0 monthly fee, and we pay them a success fee. So we generate a pile of business. We've become one of Fast Expert's, I think, best partners in the country. A variety. There's a lot of those companies out there. There is I'm just trying to think of some of the other ones. There's a lot of them out there. OpCity. OpCity is another one that's broker agnostic. Those are all realtor.com leads. 0 monthly fee, you pay a success fee. So again, if you're looking for more of that type of business, there's a lot of it out there. I would say the highest return is probably Zillow is a very high return. Movoto, very high return. Again, those that are immediate live showing leads. Your highest return is probably going to be the 0 fee and the referral fee based model. So long answer to your question. Hopefully those are some helpful tips for people. That's what we've done as a team. And every month we probably generate, 1,200 leads a month. So the way our structure is that we've got a small group of agents that work those. There's maybe 30, 40 agents that are working those. Optional, it's not required. The commission split is lower to our agent if they work those versus if they're doing their own business, what we call their personal leads. So I don't require the agents to work our team leads, but if they do, they can. And there's a lot of them. There's a lot of opportunities.
Yeah, I think a lot of lead gen companies are really good. I do like the referral thing. That's a really good point. I actually see this a lot though. There's a lot of lead gen companies, and it's really hard to weed out good and bad ones because you get lead gen companies that are like, oh, just pay me a monthly fee and pay the ad spend.
Yeah,
that's normal.
yeah.
I'd say that's probably the standard. You get the ones that do referral fees, which there's issues with those as well. But I would say the biggest one is actually on their side because they take a lot of risk.
Right.
And so those are really, really good for new agents. I'm trying to think, what was the other one I was going to say? But there's a lot of really good lead gen companies. It's just finding the right ones.
Sure.
So one of the things that I've been working on is instead of doing like total lead gen where we bring in the leads like Zillow, we close them, all that for you. We work with you. So more of the nurture leads.
Yeah.
Because it allows the agents to build their own systems so that they're not relying on like Zillow or realtor.com forever, so that they can do it themselves.
Sure.
It's more of a done with you, like a coaching style.
Sure.
Which I think is really, really beneficial because you get the agents who graduate almost, like graduate is kind of a word for it, from like Zillow leads to their own. And that's a really rough transition if you don't have anything to like kind of work with you. So I wanted to kind of circle back to the nurture leads there with, you said sync? I think it was?
Yep.
What are you doing for nurturing the leads? Because that's a huge transition, getting a call from Zillow of like, I'm ready to buy or sell, to we need to nurture them.
That is the art form of this job. And I think where really good agents can shine and do well. I am a huge believer in the human aspect of this business. And what I mean by that is I literally, if I look over the last 20 plus years, I am meeting someone in person for an hour every day, at least every business day, Monday through Friday. And with that nurture lead, the natural thing you do is you say, oh, you know what? They're not looking for 6 months. They're not looking for a year. What a waste of time. What do I do? Versus offering to take time with that person, to sit down with them and say, hey, there's no rush or pressure from my end. 6 months, year, totally fine. How about this? Love to buy you a cup of coffee. Would love to learn more about you, your family, timeline, when the time is right, what type of property you're looking for. And again, if nothing else, just say hello on a human level. Taking time for that person, sitting down, meeting with them. And here's the thing. Here's the interesting thing about it that I think as realtors, kind of veterans, you'll appreciate this. You may have a lead and they say, look, I'm 6 months or a year out. You call them on the phone, you enter good notes, you call them back in 4, 5, 6 months. Guess what? They just bought a property or they closed on a property 3 months ago. And so the art form with this business is meeting the person, providing value, taking an interest in them, setting up some type of MLS or even non-MLS search in this limited inventory market. There's not a lot of inventory. It's showing your value as an agent, kind of showing the consumer what you do and how you earn your money. And so my whole business was built on nurture leads. When I started as an agent, we didn't have these live transfers. There was not, hey, I want to go see a house today. For me, it was pounding the pavement and driving an hour, meeting the guy that you meet at the restaurant or the coffee shop, and you find out, hey, he just filed bankruptcy and he's got bad credit, and you think, okay, what a waste. You drove this whole way. What is this about? This business, how am I going to get any deals? When you take time for people, when you try to help them, give them credit advice, connect them with a bankruptcy attorney, try to be a resource for people, that leads to good things. 3 months later, 6 months later, he calls up and says, hey, Ryan, met with you 3 months ago at Perkins. My brother needs to sell his house. Can you give him a call? I quickly realized early on, this job was all about meeting as many people as I could, building a relationship with them, and building that group of people that I know. And so again, if you're thinking, hey, my business is slow, what could I do? Literally get to know 30, 50 new people this year. And it could be anything. It could be through your church, through your pickleball club, through your Facebook group you're part of, through a restaurant you go to regularly. Take time for people. Your business will thank you for it.
That's so, so true. I cannot tell you how many agents I say that to. So one of the big things that I've been pushing is I call it a cup of coffee script. And the entire point isn't to ask someone, are you looking to buy? Are you looking to sell? It's, will you come out? Let me buy you a cup of coffee and get to know you.
Yeah.
that's like, it's not pushy, it's nothing. Because a lot of times, like, I'll give you a really good example, like for me personally, when I call someone up and I say, hey, how's it going? Like, I never ask, how can I necessarily help you right away? Or what can I do for you? Or can I build you a website or whatever? I always ask, how is it going? What are you doing? Like, I want to get to know the person first. So one, I found out that it's him and it's a couple who run a brokerage. And I was calling the dude and I said, hey, how's it going? Like, um, basically everything moves on. We're doing really good. And I found out his wife is going to Disney with one of their kids.
Hmm.
And I'm like, oh, okay, that's amazing. I totally understand. Like, if she's busy or whatever, why don't we circle back? We can call in like a week or so, and then we can talk about figure out everything that's going on. And it's like a really powerful moment. And so when you're like, oh, I actually care, like it resets the frame for everyone. Everyone's on board, and like everyone's there. So I think that's honestly the best thing you can do in real estate is not just do like marketing or sales. It's build relationships, period, end of story.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think part of your marketing that you're going to do is it's awareness. You know, again, whether it's through social media, be visible. Okay, be visible so people know who you are, they know what you do. But here's a little tip with social media and a great way to build your business through social media. Use your social media platform to elevate other businesses, to elevate other individuals. Perhaps there's a neighbor of yours that, maybe they opened a business. Maybe something really exciting happened for them. Taking time for them to attend their grand opening, to take a picture of them, to write on their wall, to tag them on Instagram, to elevate others in your sphere. It shows you care, shows you listen. It shows it's not all about you. And I think sometimes the tendency with social media is it is always look at me, especially in the real estate world. I would say, you want to be visible. Don't be the secret agent. People have to know what you do. But I think you can do that in ways that it doesn't have to always be shameless self promotion. I know many very good agents on our team and in our market that they use social media effectively with that. So, marketing wise, awareness. Yep, awareness is important. And again, as we talked about at the beginning of this, reviews, um, having a presence. When people Google you, Google your phone number, your name, your your name, realtor, your name, company. What pops up? Do you have at least page one and page two on Google updated? Is your phone number easily found? Your email address easily found? You'd be amazed at the number of people that I try to find their email or phone number. It's it's amazing to me. Simple things, again, because again, when you're calling that new Zillow lead or that new customer, whoever, they're Googling you oftentimes to learn more about you. So you got to know what's out there for you. So just some tips about online presence and social media.
Yeah, it's all about being visible online, but being visible in a good way.
Yep.
Like the one that I see a lot of brokerages do that is just beautiful is business spotlights. So instead of everything being me, it's community, community, community.
Yep.
So I think one of the most powerful combos is business spotlight plus email newsletter about community events.
Yep.
Because it's never about the brokerage, it's always about how can we build the community.
Yep. Yeah. I agree. I mean, little things like that um, go a long ways, and I just think for if you're more of an agent, solo agent, and you're thinking about this, the other thought that I had to share is having your gold list of people. And what I mean by that are your friends, your neighbors, your high school buddies you grew up with. Putting that together. Again, if you do nothing else after watching this podcast, open up whether it's a notebook, whether you're old school, or whether you open an Excel document, put down your first name, their last name, phone number, email, their birthday, and getting together that gold list of people and then keeping in touch with them. It could be as simple as, again, once a day, opening up your phone, going to your contact list, picking one of your contacts up that's in your gold list, reaching out to them and say, hey, you know what, Andrew? Hey, it's Ryan. How are you? Oh, good, great. Gosh, you know what? We haven't chatted in a little bit. I was thinking about, thinking about you guys, you and your family. Just wanted to reach out and say, how are you? What's new? And the simple act of, I can think of a couple of our best agents on our team get a pile of referral business because they do that, literally that one thing. They've got their gold list, they've got their contacts, they make one phone call a day. And it's not calling up to say, hey, I'm a realtor. I need, are you looking to sell your house? It's taking time. What's new? How are your kids? What are you guys doing this spring with the family? By the way, if you're not good with talking and thinking of questions, practice. Go to a Toastmasters, go somewhere. So much of this job is talking, and you really have to hone in on that. You have to practice. I see a lot of agents in this business that struggle on the phone. They struggle in person, and that's okay. If that's you, practice. Some of the best agents I know, they are not afraid to pick the phone up. They're not afraid to chat in person. You need to refine those skills. And one last tip on this is asking questions. Hey, my kids are doing great, or the family's doing great. Having 2, 3, 4, 5 other questions in your mind that you come back to. Awesome. What are your kids up to at school? Or, what sports are they involved with? You have to have more things to keep the conversation going. It can't just be a quick one and done. And that's a rule for these leads, for people you meet at open houses, for anybody. Keep the conversation going. Keep it about them. The longer you do that, they're going to like you, they're going to trust you, they're going to want to hire you, and it's going to lead to transactions.
I agree. I think that's also kind of on top of that. So it's building those relationships, talking to people constantly. But one of the best tools for that is a CRM. I can't tell you how many agents I know that just use like Excel or Google Docs. But if you have a proper CRM that you can go, oh, okay, like I haven't talked to this person in a minute. Oh, I completely forgot. Let me give them a call, see how they're doing. And most of the agents that I talk to, they're like, oh yeah, we, talk to them. Are you looking to buy or sell? Like, how are things going with the house? Never, ever open like that. Ever.
Yeah.
Always open with, like, personally for me on the CRM, I have a notes tab, and it's just little things that they said on the call that they clearly care about. So maybe a good one was they're moving. So it's a brokerage and they're moving to a new location. And then at the same time, his wife is getting a new location. So when I called him up, I didn't call and say, dude, like, how are you doing? Like, are the leads good? Whatever. I called him. I said, hey man, like, how are the moves going? Like, everything going smooth? All that sort of stuff.
Right.
And you just heard it in his voice. Like, he's like, oh, you remembered. And so having those tools in place helps so much as well. Like, so important.
And again, don't feel it has to be super overly techy. I've met a lot of agents who are great with CRMs, but they forget the humans that are part of the CRM. So find your tool. We work a lot with KV Core, which is now called Bold Trail. Some of our agents love Sync. We've actually built our own little internal CRM with our team that's called the Pipeline. Find your mojo, your jam, whatever it is, and then use it. Use it to your benefit. But don't get lost in the CRM and the technology and you forget the humans. Because I meet a lot of agents that spend a lot of time on technology that don't sell a lot of real estate. So use the technology to help you, not to have it be another job of something you got to learn.
I agree. I will say there's one thing in technology that I think every agent should learn. One, other than the CRM. It's a Loom video, LOOM.
Yeah.
Because instead of sending just a plain email of, hey, like updates here, updates there, you can send a personalized video to them and it builds the relationship even more.
Yep. Yep. I agree. In fact, our lender, we do a little weekly radio show here in the Twin Cities. It's called the Minnesota Real Estate Show. It's Saturday mornings from 10 to 11. It's on WCCO, which is just a local, more well-known station. But with that show every Saturday morning, we've got partners with it. These partners come on, they provide value. We talk about all kinds of things. Our lender partner is a guy named Mike Overson. He's with a bank called Luminate Bank. Great company, great people. Mike, in all of his communications he has with customers, does the video email, as you just described, as a way to connect, especially when talking to someone for the first time. Helps them know who you are, what you're reaching out about, especially, again, from a lender perspective. You're asking for documents, financial things, these different things that a human touch goes a long way. So Mike is someone I can think of that does it. And agents I know who do a really nice job with that technology. So that's a good one.
Yeah, there's a lot of really cool hacks like that
Yep.
that really, really help build that relationship even further. So
Absolutely.
I don't have any more major questions for you. So with that being said, where would you like to send people after the podcast? Any final remarks, anything like that?
Yeah, no, again, I appreciate it. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you for inviting me. I appreciate your good communication, your good follow up with me. And so thank you. And again, for anyone watching or listening, you have questions on building an agent business, building a team, building a brokerage. My heart comes from a place of service. Please reach out to me by phone, by email, on social media. I am more than happy to help. I certainly don't claim to have the answers, but I have lived and breathed this business for a long time. And so please don't hesitate to reach out. Again, our team is just called the Minnesota Real Estate Team. You can go to mnrealestateteam.com. It's got all my phone, my contact information right on there. You can find us on any social media platform as well. So again, I'm happy to be a resource for anyone that's watching this that has follow-up questions. Please don't hesitate to reach out. But Andrew, keep up the great work, bud.